Hello everyone, I'm Harshita Bose from class 12. Today I'm going to present a small video on the English Visitors chapter on the face of it. Before going through the prose, let us know about Susan Hill, the playwright. Susan Hill was born on 5th February 1942 in North Yorkshire. She went to Scarborough Convent School where she showed interest in theatre and literature. She left Scarborough in 1958 with her family and moved to Coventry, where she attended a girls' grammar school and took her A-levels in English, French, history and Latin. Suzanne did her English degree at King's College, London. Hill wrote the first novel, The Enclosure, which was published while she was still in her first year at university. She has a distinct descriptive Gothic style in which she has written some ghost stories too. Her famous novel The Woman in Black was published in 1983. Since her area of interest in the traditional English ghost stories, her book have an aura of suspense with just the right atmosphere for the subject. The Woman in Black was turned into a play in 1987 and still runs in the West End of London, being one of those plays that have run for over 20 years. It was also made into a TV film and later a full-fledged film. Her other novels include The Mist in the Mirror and the ambitious sequel of Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca, Mrs. De Winter. Hill has also written a series of crime novels featuring Detective Simon Cyril. Now, let's start with the story. This story is based on two characters. Derry, a teenager who was highly pessimistic and withdrawn from the society, remained lonely because one side of his face was disfigured by acid. Well, Derry could not be blamed completely for his pessimistic and aggressive attitude towards the world around him. On the other hand, Mr. Lamb, an old man with a tin leg, was a happily living person. He lived in a big house, alone, but he overcame his loneliness by reading books, talking to people who enters his garden. One day, Derry scaled the boundary wall of Mr. Lamb's garden and jumped in, thinking the place was empty. While he was walking in, he suddenly heard a voice saying, "Welcome to the garden," and got frightened. He turned and saw Mr. Lamb. Derry was asked not to be afraid, to which he replied, "I am not afraid of anyone. People are afraid of me," and gave his half-burnt face as reason to it. Mr. Lamb tells that Derry he is similar to other in every aspect. Derry was given an example of weeds and flowering plants and how they are similar to each other. But Derry disagrees. Now, Derry asked Mr. Lamb about his tin leg. Lamb described that his real one was blown out and was using tin leg. Due to this, some kids call him Lammy Lamb, which does not bother him. Mr. Lamb asked Derry many things about a girl who enters Derry's life, as same as that in the fairy tale Beauty and the Beast. Now Derry tells Lamb about how people talk about him, to which Mr. Lamb advised him to keep his ears shut. Derry could not understand and says Mr. Lamb peculiar, but he liked to stay here. Mr. Lamb described about a hive of bee behind a tree. People say that bees buzz, but for Lamb, they sing. Derry expresses how much he hates people staring at him. After which Mr. Lamb tells Derry a story of a man who was always afraid of being killed by an infection or can meet to an accident. So he locked himself in a room a picture fall sorry where a picture fell off the wall on his head and killed him. Jerry expresses his feeling when his parents used to talk about his future and get worried. Mr. Lamb says daily that you have brains, you have dreams, and can achieve whatever you like. After a long conversation, Mr. Lamb asks Dairy that he can help him in collecting crab apples if he want to. Dairy replies by saying he would like it, but before that, he would ask his mother and come back. Till then, Mr. Lamb should not climb the ladder, as he could and fall off the ladder and die. He make a promise to come back. But Mr. Lamb says that all those who promise to overcome to come back but never come. In the next scene, Derry reaches home and he asks his mother and went back to Mr. Lamb. But when he reaches Mr. Lamb's garden, he found Mr. Lamb dead and he begins to weep. From this prose, we can learn that we should not judge anyone on the basis of their external look. With this, I remain. Thank you.